Okay, Loudepot back here, and we're going to continue on with radiant heat. And just so you can be 100% positive, radiant heat is normally installed in floors, but it can also be installed in walls and in ceilings because heat doesn't rise like everybody believes it does. Hot air will rise, but you're talking about two different densities. Heat radiates, and this will radiate objects and human beings in a room, whether it's in the ceiling, the walls, or the floor. Although it's practical to put it in the floor, especially on the new construction. But anyway, there's always going to be a calculation for radiant heat. And to heat any room, there's always going to be a BTU heat loss calculation. That's figuring on the thickness of the construction of the building, 2x4s to 2x6s usually, the thickness of the insulation inside that wall, windows with their U number, doors involved in that wall. If it's a wall which is heated on the other side, or a ceiling which has heat above it, or a floor that has heat below it, that wouldn't come into the calculation. So basically just outside walls or walls that are cold on the other side where heat would be lost through that wall. That's going to come into the calculation. Basically with radiant heat, you're going to calculate the square foot of the room that's being heated and the BTUs necessary for that square footage, usually between 20 and 30 per square foot. And that's how you're going to calculate that. And that's going to come up depending on what was lost out the walls. If it's a very thin wall with no insulation, a lot of windows, probably 30 BTUs per square foot. If you have very good insulation and there's few windows, or they're very good double pane windows that don't lose too much heat, you'll probably be going about 20 BTUs per square foot for the measurement of that room. Per square foot for the radiant. And you can't really get a lot more BTUs by putting a larger radiant tubing under the floor, but you can get more BTUs by compressing the inches apart. Normally they'll space radiant heat like this at about 8 inches apart, back and forth, something like that. Of course that's not 8 inches apart, but and to get more BTUs out of it, you would simply just keep the loops tighter. And normally you'll do that if you have a cold outside wall. As you're doing the radiant along the floor, the first 3 foot going into the room, you'll squeeze those loops tighter, maybe 6 or 7 inches apart. And then as you get more than 3 foot into the room under the floor, you'll space the loops back a little wider to the normal 8 inches apart. So by compressing them, it's the same thing as keeping baseboard on an outside wall. Normally you put baseboard on a cold wall. Same thing with radiant. You'll compress the loops tight on an outside wall or a cold wall. Then as you're going in, normal back up to the 8-inch spread. And by compressing it, that's how you can raise the BTUs. Okay, so I hope this helps. I hope this is a start for you guys. And we're going to get deep into this.